The moment I let another man into my life, I didn't just betray my husband. I signed the quiet death certificate of the woman I used to be. And I didn't understand the cost. Until I watched him stop loving me without raising his voice once. My name is Emily Carter, and for 12 years, I was married to a man who never missed a promise. Daniel Carter wasn't loud. He wasn't flashy. He was steady. The kind of man who built his life brick by brick and believed loyalty was a permanent state, not a choice you made every day. We lived in Austin, Texas, in a house we designed together. Neutral walls, clean lines, no chaos. That was Daniel's taste. Control. Precision. Calm. I used to think that calm meant boredom. Daniel ran a mid-sized logistics consulting firm. Nothing shady. Nothing dramatic. Just contracts, audits, and reputation. People trusted him because he never cut corners. I was the opposite. I felt unseen, unheard, restless. And when a woman feels invisible long enough, she starts believing she deserves attention, no matter where it comes from. That's when Mark Reynolds entered my life. Mark was a financial advisor, introduced through a charity board I volunteered with. Confident. Smooth. He listened when I complained. He nodded when I spoke. He told me I was wasting my intelligence. Daniel never said those things. I told myself it was harmless. Just conversations. Just validation. But secrets grow fast in silence. And I didn't notice when Daniel started watching me more closely. Not suspiciously, just quietly. That should have terrified me. Affairs don't explode. They leak. Late replies. Phones turned face down. Unexplained transfers from our joint account. Amounts small enough not to scream, but consistent enough to whisper. I didn't know Daniel had noticed. The night everything changed, he didn't yell. He didn't accuse. He simply asked one question at dinner. Emily, do you trust me? I froze. That pause was my confession. 2 weeks later, Daniel discovered everything. Mark wasn't just sleeping with me. He was manipulating me. Through my access to Daniel's company records, Mark guided me, carefully, into approving temporary consultant transfers. Money routed through shell LLCs. Clean paperwork. My digital signature. I told myself Daniel made enough money. I told myself it was harmless. I told myself I loved my husband, even as I betrayed him. Daniel found the evidence during an internal audit he ordered himself. I wasn't there when he saw the messages. But I know the moment his world cracked. Because when he finally confronted me, his voice was flat. I know about Mark. I know about the money. I just want to hear you lie one more time. I didn't cry. I didn't deny. I watched the man who loved me realize his wife was the most dangerous person in the room. Daniel didn't leave that night. He slept in the guest room. Woke up at 5:30 a.m., made coffee. Went to work. That terrified me more than screaming ever could. That silence changed the air in the house. I started noticing sounds I'd never heard before. The hum of the refrigerator at night, the soft click of Daniel's laptop closing, the way the floor creaked under his steps as he moved through rooms I was no longer invited into emotionally. I tried to apologize. Not the shallow kind. Not the kind meant to end an argument. I told him I was scared. I told him I felt small and invisible. I told him Mark made me feel chosen. Daniel didn't interrupt me. He didn't argue. He looked at me with an expression I will carry for the rest of my life. Not hatred, not anger, but disappointment sharpened into focus. Emily, he said calmly, you didn't make one mistake. You made hundreds. You just stopped counting. That sentence hollowed me out. I realized then that I wasn't fighting for my marriage anymore. I was standing at the edge of it, watching it fall, brick by brick, knowing I had pushed the first one myself. At night, I lay awake listening to him type. Not angrily. Not frantically. Deliberately. Each keystroke sounded like distance being measured. Like doors closing one by one. I tried to touch his arm once. He gently moved away. Not violently. Not dramatically. Just, final. That's when fear finally replaced guilt. Because guilt hopes for forgiveness. Fear understands consequence. And in that quiet house, surrounded by the life we built together, I finally understood something brutal. Daniel wasn't planning revenge out of anger. He was planning it out of clarity. And clarity doesn't hesitate. Over the next weeks, he stopped reacting. No anger. No pleading. No arguments. Just distance. I later learned what he was doing during those quiet nights. Consulting attorneys. Reconstructing transaction trails. Pulling server logs. Documenting everything. Including my role. Mark didn't realize Daniel was baiting him. Encouraging him to take more. Letting the amounts grow. Allowing Mark to believe he was winning. I tried to warn Mark. Daniel heard the call recording. That was the moment he stopped seeing me as his wife, and started seeing me as evidence. Daniel never touched Mark. Never threatened him. Never broke the law. He did something far more devastating. He handed everything to federal investigators. Emails. Voice recordings. Bank trails. My signed approvals. Mark's offshore accounts. Then Daniel filed for divorce. No negotiation. No forgiveness. Full cooperation with authorities. Mark was arrested on wire fraud, conspiracy, and money laundering charges. I was charged too. Reduced sentence for cooperation. Daniel testified calmly. Professionally. Without once looking at me. He didn't destroy Mark. Mark destroyed himself. Daniel just removed the shadows. I lost everything. My marriage. My reputation. My future as I knew it. Daniel rebuilt. New firm. New city. New life. At the final hearing, the judge asked Daniel if he had anything to say. He looked at me once. Just once. And said, I trusted the wrong person. That mistake ends today. That was the last time I ever had power over him. And that is the truth I live with now. Some betrayals don't end in forgiveness. They end in clarity. And clarity is the most ruthless justice of all.
If this story made you feel something, pain, anger, clarity, or strength, you're not alone. Stories like this are why Betrayal Nation exists. Please like this video, share it with someone who needs to hear it, and write a comment below. We read every single one, and your voice matters here. Your support truly helps this channel grow, so if you haven't already, subscribe and help us reach 1,000 subscribers. Together, we're building a place where real stories are heard, truth is exposed, and justice finds its voice. This is Betrayal Nation. Thank you for being part of it.